You're trying to increase your feminine energy because you're freaking sick and tired of waking up feeling like crud. But dude, there's 3 things that you have to avoid in order to really get to where you want to be. So the first one is you have to stop believing the lies. Now, personally for me, in my household when I was growing up, we threw really mean names around, and I was always called a whore and a bitch, like in my family living room that was supposed to be really, really safe for me, and I was supposed to like thrive like a butterfly. When something is said to you so much, you actually start to believe it's true. I just literally started believing, like it one day happened, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a bitch and I'm a whore. Like I should feel ashamed. And also growing up with like all this spiritual and religious stuff, I learned that God doesn't love whores and God doesn't love bitches. So I felt unlovable. And I just thought, I'm like, I was born this way. Like I'm disgusting. So I started believing the lies. And then what happened was I just recreated this. So friends that I attracted, people that I dated, and at my like lowest, hardest, worst part of my life, I married a man who every day told me I was a whore and called me a bitch. I'd fight him, but then I'm like, well, yeah, like, of course I am. So it's like, you gotta like separate like the lies from what's really true. You're not unlovable, you're not disgusting, you're not a bitch, you're not a whore. When these things are said to us like such an impressionable age where we're in a place where we're supposed to feel safe and happy, I know that it's like hard to be like, oh my God, that's not true, that's not me. That's like the people in my family that called me that actually believed it about themselves. So it was just them speaking into a mirror. So I like declared, I commanded in my own power. Like I went back to that part and I'm like, that's a lie. That's not true. I'm not going to believe the lies, because the truth is God loves me unconditionally no matter what. The truth is the universe is always working out for me. And the truth is I can completely decide right now that I'm going to give up that story so I can feel peace. Like, yes, it is worth it to me to stop that story so I can feel peace now. The second mistake you have to avoid is stop looking for God in all the wrong places. So specifically as women, we are freaking brainwashed to believe that, oh, you better have a perfect body and be beautiful, and then God can love you, and then a man can love you, and then your family will love you. I learned this from every woman in my family, like hard beliefs that no one will ever love you if you aren't pretty. So don't get fat, don't gain weight, don't get old. Such a lie. So I had a client who was super obsessed with what she looked like, hated her small boobs. Her dad used to always like, don't get fat, oh, you're gaining weight, and just pick on her when she was younger. So she had that same belief. Hello, I'm not good enough because my body isn't perfect. She was like, I want to get a boob job. I hate my small boobs. And she was so obsessed with it. And no matter what we talked about, it would always come back to her body. So I was like, you need to stop looking for God in all the wrong places. You need to go hang around with people who know in their soul that they are not their body, they are more than their body, and their soul is like beautiful and perfect and infinite, like a child of God. So go find someone who's lost a limb or who's, struggled on the external, like, oh, they're not a supermodel, and they're so peaceful and fulfilled and happy and confident. And I got off that call and I was like, dude, I need to go do that too, because like, I feel like my confidence and a lot of my power is like, oh, I'm so strong, and oh, I'm so beautiful. And so that's what makes me such a good person. And that it's going to crumble like a freaking stack of cards. You are so worthy as you are. You were made perfectly. You are so beautiful. Look for God in the right place, sister. And the third mistake that you need to avoid is letting men dictate your sexuality. So we're just surrounded by this idea that, okay, so guess what women are here for? We're here for pleasure for men. I have this conversation with my clients and I'm like, don't you know how to make a man come? Like, don't you know how to touch a dick? Like, doesn't everybody in the world know how to please a man? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so do you talk about your partner like how to please you? Do you remember seeing in movies how to please a woman? Do you remember growing up thinking, oh, it's so beautiful when a woman orgasms and when a woman loves herself and a woman feels confident? And my clients, and I can relate to this, they're like, no. I literally feel embarrassed to have beautiful lovemaking with his mouth, and my pussy, I push it away. I feel like, oh no, his pleasure comes first. What if it has a scent? Like, newsflash, yes, you have a scent and it's beautiful. One of my mentors said it smells like the natural yogurt. Like, that is your scent. So when you can take your power back in this really beautiful way, like not in a performative porn way, so I hate my body and I think I'm a whore, but I'm gonna go do this naked thing so a man gives me attention. That's not powerful. In this way of like, I am so sexy in my sweats and my pajamas. Like, I'll be in the kitchen with sweats looking all greasy and I'm just like, damn girl, like got my tunes on. I'm like, oh, I feel so hot right now. Like, this is amazing. And in a way of being able to cherish and appreciate my entire body, my pussy included. And this doesn't mean that I have sex 24/7 with my partner. This doesn't mean that I'm always like wearing lipstick. This means that I'm not gonna go outside of myself for someone to give me permission to be like, oh, you have a pussy, you can finally use it now. Oh, you have a pussy, I'll tell you when you can receive pleasure. And one of the ways, the most amazing, epic way that I've taken my power back is I use pussy perfume, so my own beautiful scent. And I don't tell anyone, like when I put it on, so I touch my beautiful pussy and then I put perfume on, and it's like I've been invigorated, I'm like energized, and I just feel like, wow, every part of me is so beautiful and just straight from God's creation. Why would I want to not celebrate that? I'm amazing. So there are two ways that women try and increase their feminine energy. One way is wrong and one way is right. To learn the right way, watch this video.